Welcome to Add This to Your List, episode 70. Hello, gentlemen.
Woo!
Hi.
Hi.
I am one of your hosts, Fumi Samano, and I am joined by two fabulous men, Mark J. Parker and Tom Shuba.
Hey.
Don't you forget it.
Don't you forget it.
It's been a minute. We took a little bit of a break. It's summer. We're living our lives, you know, doing our thing. And so we're back with another episode.
Yes.
Before we get into the nitty gritty of what's going down for the episode, we just want to take a moment to give our thoughts and prayers to those who are and were affected by the shootings that have been happening in the United States. Unfortunately, we had 2 mass shootings in literally a 24-hour period. So, you know, we're just trying to figure it out. We're just trying to figure out what's going on. Why does this keep happening? And all we can do is really just hope for something.
Seriously, please give us something.
Anything.
Now, I have a quick question for you guys since we're on the topic of this. I actually, for a while now, have a first draft done. I have a first draft of a short film that is kind of like a horror short hate crime where the killer says they got their gun so easily from like a store that sells it, right? And I've been wanting lately to really shoot it because it would be very easy to shoot. It's like one location. It's very easy, very short. Now, is this the best time to make that, or is it the worst time? What do you guys think?
I'd say the best.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't even know if there is a worst time to make that. I mean, we can sit here and say
it happens every
but
day,
it happens
yeah.
all the time, and we the 3 of us know nothing's going to change, and you know,
I know.
So do it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I mean, once this news, I was like, I gotta shoot this thing because like this is so freaky. But yeah, anyway,
I always my position is always activism. Art is always the most powerful and impactful when the issue and topic at hand is
in the
is
forefront of people's minds. Yeah. Yep.
Totally.
Yep,
okay.
exactly.
Good. All right. Well, add that to your list one day.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Right?
Well, with that being said, we are going to break down housekeeping and headlines. We've got some things that we want to talk to y'all about. We're going to get onto our list. And then we're going to do a little something fun where we're going to talk about season and series finales. Who done did bad? And who done did so bad?
Because a lot of shows in the news lately have done bad.
And what has done did so bad that it has left us being like, are you fucking kidding? I did not devote all of my time and energy into the show, and this is how you left it hanging. So we're going to talk about that.
And Fumi sort of feels that way about Big Little Lies, maybe?
We're going to get to it.
Okay, we'll get to it. Okay.
Maybe Tom does too.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Shit. Okay.
So first up, housekeeping and headlines. Mark, what's on your radar?
Let's get into it. So, it's not breaking news. It was announced a couple weeks ago, but it wouldn't be add this to your list, guys.
Word.
If we did not talk about Miss Jamie Lee Curtis and the Halloween saga. Of course, by now, I think even if you're not a fan, you've heard the pretty big news. I mean, of course, we all figured. I mean, it's Michael Myers. It's Halloween. There's always going to be sequels. There's always going to be reboots. But I was kind of blown away that just a couple weeks ago in like late July, Blumhouse and everyone announced that there would not be 1 sequel, but 2. They did this really cool little 30-second video with sound bites from big moments from the movie that came out last year that obviously was a huge success. They're going to do Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. Those are the titles. And they're going to be back-to-back sequels shot back-to-back. The next one will be October 2020 and then October 2021, which will be the final chapter in the Michael Myers, Laurie Strode saga. They're making sure
for now,
but also I do actually really believe them when they say this will be the final chapter with Laurie Strode. I think they're smart in saying this obviously is not the final chapter of Michael Myers. You guys do whatever you want, but for this Jamie Lee Curtis version, like that we all know and love from the original, that's going to be wrapped up, I guess, in 2021. So they got everyone back. Danny McBride is co-writing with director David Gordon Green. They're going to shoot in, I think it's North Carolina. It's one of the Carolinas.
South Carolina. In
South
Charleston.
Carolina. Right.
Yep.
And Judy Greer and Andy Matichak who play the...
Time out. I just realized I'm going to be in Charleston for work in September. I wonder if they will...
Someone's going to be an
I may
extra.
need to do a set visit.
Tom's going to be a featured extra. Oh, my!
I love
Anyway,
how
sorry.
obsessed you guys are with Halloween. It makes me so happy.
Bitch, you liked it too.
You liked it more than I did, I think. So
I like the movie, but I'm not like you guys.
I mean, I was pretty excited. Everyone remembers when I went on my rant. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I'm going to give it another watch soon. But I just think it's cool, exciting news. Again, to have just an older female lead in this kick-ass horror franchise, and they did this big announcement. But real quick, what I thought was really interesting, if you guys remember, listeners, back last October, we did a deep dive into the Halloween movies because they're all random, different timelines. This is the franchise that literally said what you saw last time that doesn't exist anymore, right? They did that
Just
a few
kidding.
times.
Yeah.
But what I thought, what'd you say, Tom?
I said, just kidding, is how they kind of always lead with their announcements. Yeah.
Totally. And so what I thought was interesting was they just announced about a week or so ago that they did reach out to Paul Rudd to play a pretty interesting role of a character who was a kid in the original. Fumi, side note, I want Kyle Richards to come back to the Halloween world because how great would it be to have a Real Housewife, just have a little cameo.
Oh my God, I
want
forgot
to.
that
I'm
she
sure
played
she'd want
Lindsay.
to.
Oh, are
Yeah.
you kidding? Kyle would be like, knock, knock, knock. Jamie, I brought you dinner.
Yeah.
Please
She would
bring
totally
me
do
in
it.
for she will do a walk-on role. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting that, they have made such a big deal with these movies. They would nix all the sequels. This just goes back to the first one. That's it. But then they want Paul Rudd to play this role that he played in Halloween 6. So if they were to do that, it's like, well, then why isn't Jamie Lee's daughter Danielle Harris from Halloween 4 and 5? I don't know.
And Danielle has been very vocal on Twitter. We follow her and she follows us.
Totally,
and she's
yes,
like,
thank you,
hello,
Danielle.
why is no one asking me to be in this movie?
Yeah, it's
but,
like if you want Paul
just,
Rudd, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like in the spirit of what they're doing with this new reboot trilogy, they should be going back to the original Tommy Doyle.
Oh, like the original kid, the original
actor. I
don't
think
know
his
if
name is Brian something.
Is
but
he
he's
still an
done
actor?
work. Yeah, he does indies and shorts and stuff.
Okay.
But
yeah, I mean, why not?
You should be going back to him, not to Paul Rudd. But anyway,
Totally.
rant
Yeah.
over.
Anyway, little geeky, nerdy moment, but we're excited. We'll see how that turns out, and this October will be a break from Michael Myers, but the next 2 after that, we'll see him again on big screen. So that's what I got.
Okay. I'm happy you guys cut it off because I was about to be like, gentlemen.
I mean, that was literally 2 minutes. It's August, people.
No, it was
Halloween
5.
is round the corner.
Anyway, I wanted to talk about Amazon's kind of rebirth, reemergence.
Yeah,
Something's going
wow.
on over there. So, we know Jennifer Salk has taken over Amazon. She was brought in to kind of just redo it, rezhuzh it up. We need new programming, we need new people. What's happening at Amazon? So she's come on, and the TCAs were over the last weekend, and Amazon had their time on the stage, and they're just kind of getting going over there, axing some shit, bringing some new stuff on. At the TCAs, they talked about how they basically canceled a lot of stuff. They
canceled stuff that didn't even air yet.
Yeah, they canceled the Romanoffs. I think that was kind of one of a big shock
surprise.
because, when it first was announced, people were really excited. It came from the creator from Mad Men. It had a huge cast, but it didn't do well. People were kind of like, "What is this show?" People were confused by it.
Me included.
Yeah,
I never watched. I was like,
yeah, I only watched the one with Diane Lane, and it was fine,
Yeah.
but I didn't have any desire to go see the rest of them.
And they canceled the series Too Old to Die Young.
Yes, that I believe is the Nicholas Winding Refn, that guy who did
Yeah,
Drive.
yeah.
That's
yes,
one that
okay.
never, with Miles Teller,
Yeah,
I
that
believe,
never-
like that never
never
even
aired.
that never even aired. Yeah, yikes. And that is bad when a network does that, or a streaming network. Like, and back when I was in high school and I was in a TV pilot, and then it went on to series, and then once we shot season 1, I was an intern on it, and then when the network just scrapped it, like, that is so bad. So much money goes to waste that way. So, but I guess they have a new vision.
They have a new vision.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously they have some really great shows like Fleabag, but unfortunately, unless Phoebe wants to bring it back, it's not coming back. But but they have got some new people that have lined up for programming that have signed overall deals. Lena Waithe, Forrest Whitaker, Connie Britton. Like, I'm excited to see
Connie.
what's coming on the pipeline for Amazon. I have to say.
I think they're going bigger, right? A little, especially with their Lord of the Rings series that we've talked about that before on this podcast.
Right.
They're going bigger. They're going for like bigger franchises, bigger audience, kind of fantasy, like just big stuff, less like indie minded, right?
That's
what
I think
feel.
that is the vision that you should go for, right? Because even though we at This Tier List love and support the indies, you know, it's a niche audience. And I don't necessarily know if it's good for sustainability for a large platform like Amazon Prime.
Right, or you have the smaller stories when you also have the bigger stories, and that way you have like a little bit of everything, you know?
Exactly.
But can we just say we called it last episode when we briefly were like, yeah, I know what you did last summer. Let's get a reboot. Let's have that be a TV show. And
it's happening.
What happened?
It's happening. James Wan is gonna be on board to go back.
And last year, not only did we call this last year when we were talking about James Wan, as we've often done in this podcast, I remember specifically saying I would love to see him do a slasher. He's shown what he can do with supernatural horror. Now let me see some blood and guts, and guess what? He's going to show us some blood and guts. So.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see it on Amazon.
Yeah.
Totally. Like, because, you know, we can see, of course, blood and sex and cursing. So, cool.
I'm excited. I love James Wan, and I've been waiting for the reboot of the movie, but this is even almost better, you know?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Bring it on.
How plausible do you think it'll be that anybody from the original movie will play a small role in the new one, even if it's like the new teenager's parents or something like that?
I think very plausible. I think every single one of them.
Yeah, me too. I'm really hoping.
I mean, you know, well, also let's be real. How cool would it kind of be if it's sort of like a semi-sequel and like someone's playing, you know, themselves, like it's Freddie Prinze Jr., you know, and his kid. I don't know. I mean, there are things that you can do definitely to bring someone back. Yeah, I mean, half of them, or maybe all 4 of them from the original. I think they're all available. Oh, Jennifer Love Hewitt's on 911, but I mean
911, but she can work it out.
Her people can talk to Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for housekeeping and headlines. Let's get into our list.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Tom, go first. What's going on? What do you got?
All right. So I've got 2 things on my list per usual. Well, not always, but this week I got 2 things on my list. First thing is the show HBO's new series. Well, it's really BBC and HBO's series.
Are you okay?
Years and Years.
Tom just became like a robot, like short-circuiting, like.
I heard someone say that you're having a real-life human 404 error, and I thought that was a genius line, and that's just literally what just happened.
That's amazing. Anyway, Years and Years. It is a new show by BBC and HBO that has just wrapped up its probably only season on HBO. And guys, this is add this to your list. It is good.
Co-signing.
I don't want to give... What'd you say, Flo?
I said I'm co-signing.
Yes, I know you are. I don't want to give a lot away, so I'm going to basically give you a 1-sentence descriptor of what the show's about, okay? It follows this family in England over a 15-year period starting in like 2020 or 2021, something like that. And it basically just shows you how the family changes as the world continues to go to shit. I mean, there's really no other way around that. I mean, you see a lot of shit happen. You know, we talk about Donald Trump wins another election. We have, you know, immigration is a huge focal point of the show. Homosexuality is a huge focal point of the show. Transgenderism, transhumanism, which is this whole idea of like humans wanting to become artificial intelligence, right? So they don't even want to be humans anymore.
Yeah.
It is good. It is clever. It is inventive. It's probably one of the most inventive things I've ever seen on TV.
It's triggering.
It is disturbing.
Oh, is it? Okay. Triggering and disturbing? Okay.
Oh, so disturbing. You know, Fumi talks about Handmaid's Tale, and it's funny because she said to me, Tom, you said you can't watch The Handmaid's Tale, but you got through years and years. But there were a couple moments where I was just like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Don't know if I can do this. But I pushed, and because I really like Russell Tovey. He is in it. He plays a very big role. He's one of the family members.
Does he play gay?
He does. He sure does.
Oh, interesting.
He
Okay.
kind of always does, I think. So he's kind of become like a token gay actor
that's fine.
/ character, much like Andrew Rannells, right? Often,
that's fine.
most often plays a gay person. Anyway, back to Years and Years. Yeah, it's Fumi's right. It's absolutely triggering. It's just good. It's captivating. You love characters some episodes, and then episodes later you grow to hate them only to love them again. It's just a roller coaster ride that just does not stop, and you're like, can I please get a break? And it does not let up. Fumi, is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I've only gotten through the first episode and a half. I stopped halfway through the second episode. But I think
on purpose, or
yeah, I needed a beat. I needed a moment.
Shit.
Okay. But I also was just like, you know, I'll come back to this. But I think for me, one of the more scary factors of it is how realistic a lot of like the news in the show is. So it's like from BBC, CNN. It is just like so real, like the news anchors and like the stories and the headlines. Like there was one thing that happens in the first episode, and I text Tom and I was like, okay, I'm freaking out because this actually could really happen. Like literally, this is a headline that's in the news right now, and it's just like they just took that headline and elevated it, which is like completely and utterly freaky. It was just, it's crazy. But I think the acting is really well, and I agree. I think that you have characters who you're kind of an asshole, but then the next minute you're like, oh, like you root for them again. And there's this one character, a daughter, I'm still trying to figure her out. Like, I'm just like, girl, what is the issue?
Oh no, you will grow to love her by the end of the show.
You know,
but
I think it's a great show, but it's
6 episodes.
Jarring. Yeah.
How many? 6?
Yeah.
6 episodes. Yep.
Okay.
You could get right through. Jeff and I did it over a 2-week span because of all the other stuff we watch in between. But I really loved it, and I don't. I would hope that this is it. I don't want to see any more. I'm disturbed enough. I'm freaked out enough.
It sounds
I'm
like Black
telling
Mirror
Jeff
or
we need.
something.
Yeah, I would say that it's.
I guess.
I would say that it's an interesting. It's not as scientific as and relies heavily on technology the way Black Mirror does, but it is like a more political advanced episode of Black Mirror.
Yep.
Which is done really well. But I honestly have to say, if you can get through The Handmaid's Tale, you could do this show, because I think this show is actually worse than The Handmaid's Tale.
Shit.
Oh, wow.
I do.
Okay.
Whoa,
I do think it is.
Oh my god, I'm nervous.
Yeah. And it's going to get way worse, Fumi.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay, wow.
So yeah, that's Years and Years. Add this to your list. Resounding ad. Please check it out. It's on HBO right now. Second thing on my list. Moulin Rouge, the new Broadway musical that has been in development for quite a long time.
Yeah.
So curious to hear what you think, Tom, because I have heard very mixed. So let's hear it.
Okay. So I am a huge fan of the movie. Moulin Rouge is one of my favorite movies of all time, period. Love Nicole Kidman. Yes,
right?
Girl, for real. Love Nicole Kidman, love Ewan McGregor in that movie. There's just something very special about it to me. I've been a huge fan since the moment it came out. Okay, so with that being said, I think I'm probably among the toughest critics of the Broadway musical. I'm going to say that it is an add this to your list. You should definitely check it out because there are some really good things. The costumes are very good. The music is very good. The choreography is excellent.
The set looks incredible.
Oh my god, the theater is outrageously cool. It is
Wow.
so well done. They've cast a black woman as Satine, so I'm totally here for that. She is amazing in the role. I would not be surprised if she gets a Tony nomination. So add this to your list. Check it out. For me, as a diehard fan, and I'm going to talk to other diehard fans right now, I'm probably going to say it's an okay to miss.
Wow.
Oh, wow. I had a feeling there was a but there. I was just waiting for it.
There was definitely a but in the air. Can you tell us why, Tom, without giving much away? Is that possible?
Well, they want to update it. I mean, this kind of is a little
different.
bit of a... Yeah, the music is very different. It's a little bit of a shock. Oh, yeah. It's a little bit of a shock to realize that
it was in
the
Boston
original...
last year, and I had heard, like, some songs still in it, Tom?
Oh, yeah, definitely. But,
okay.
And to their defense, let me finish my thought. To their defense, the original movie is, like, 20 years old now, right? So you don't realize that, and when you do realize that, it's kind of a little bit of a shock, right? So I get why they wanted to freshen things up a little bit, but to me, they almost changed too much of what I loved so much about the original, as far as music goes. So a lot of that kind of fell flat with me, and you never realize until seeing the Broadway play just how big in scope and scale the movie Moulin Rouge was. Like, that is a big movie.
Yeah.
Baz Luhrmann worked his ass off on that
absolutely.
movie.
Oh my god. Oh my god, yeah. I
And
remember
you
Nicole
just
Kidman,
can't
like, broke her
capture
foot.
some of that on stage. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so in a
okay.
small environment like that, it just, a lot of things just get lost in translation. But, A for effort.
What stage is it playing on?
It's playing at the Al Hirschfeld Theater, which
Okay.
is on 45th and 8th. But yeah, I think
tickets.
most people who are just casual fans, I think the audience was really into it. They were really, really into it. Jeff loved it. So.
Would you say, Tom, some of the music is as current as, like, this year's songs, or
Like last year's songs, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now I wonder if they're going to update that. Like, let's say the show goes on for like 5 years. I wonder if they're going to update that at all, because, songs even like last year can feel old,
Right.
7 years from now. You know what I mean? So that'll be interesting. I also heard, Tom, is there a little bit of like domestic,
Yeah, I hear you.
like unhealthy relationship stuff that is new? I heard that as well.
What do you mean? Like domestic violence?
Yeah, like that, because in the movie we know that Nicole Kidman is with the Duke, right?
Yeah.
The boyfriend who's like really awful. But I also heard that like the Ewan McGregor character is not healthy in that way as well, or is that just a rumor?
Oh, no, I didn't. Maybe I was dozing off. I don't know, but that's totally lost on me.
Though? Did you fall asleep?
I wonder if that's maybe
No,
just a rumor
no.
then, because I was like, how do you make that character Christian like abusive? So I think that was just a rumor I saw somewhere online. Okay, good to know.
Interesting.
I was like, that's a different Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
All
right. Well. Okay.
I'm really perplexed now. Anyway.
Yeah, I'll have to send you what I saw. Yeah.
Mark, what's on your list?
Okay, so I got 2 items as well, and they actually kind of connect in like sort of topic, which is funny and a happy accident. So the first thing is the TV show that we might have been hearing about. It's 7 episodes, and by the time this is out, it'll be kind of coming to an end. It started earlier this summer on Showtime. It's the show The Loudest Voice, a miniseries.
Okay.
Yes. Have you guys been able to check it out yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. It's good. Add it to your list,
Oh,
y'all.
yeah?
It's good. Yes, I watched the first 2 episodes, first episode and a half-ish. I definitely want to continue it. Like I said, it's only 7 episodes. Each episode is anywhere between 45 and an hour, so it's not super long. But it's all about Russell Crowe plays Roger Ailes. And it spans from 1995 to 2016. Each episode is sort of a moment in those 20 years of creating the Fox News channel to Roger Ailes' downfall due to all the sexual harassment. So Russell Crowe is in it. He plays Roger Ailes, the lead. He's great, guys. He's great. He's He's oddly kind of charming. Like in the beginning, it's all about how Roger Ailes left CNBC, and he is such a go-getter and such a kind of crazy guy that he's like, I'm going to start my own network. And so you actually kind of are rooting for him, but then you realize how he treats people, how he, of course, treats women. The seeds are starting to plant in the early episodes. Naomi Watts isn't in the early episodes. She comes in just a little later as Gretchen Carlson. Sienna Miller plays his wife. Seth MacFarlane's in it. You got some good people in it, and they're all playing real people, and it just kind of shows the rise and fall of Roger Ailes. It also goes into politics, how he became very close with like Karl Rove and George Bush and all that stuff. And the episode 2, talk about triggering, episode 2 does show a lot. It takes place on 9/11 and how that day was, of course, not only a huge day just for Americans, but for TV and TV news. And so he makes some decisions that some people thought were kind of crazy at the time to air a lot of this stuff. And then he gets a call from Bush's, administration to like help them, with conservative viewers and, the whole conservative mindset. And it's dark and twisted, and it's good, and it's real, I guess. It's based on a book created by Tom McCarthy, who directed Spotlight a couple years ago.
Love that movie. Yeah,
that movie was really good. He's really good. It's good, guys. The only thing that I would say is kind of not so 100% great is some of the prosthetics. There's a lot of fake pudgy faces. Russell Crowe looks good. That makeup works, but like on Sienna Miller, because I think we just know she's just naturally so beautiful, it's like, I can tell you're wearing like a fat face. Like, this is weird. Why didn't you guys just book a different actress?
Or why didn't she gain the weight?
I feel prosthetics are getting worse.
Yeah, well, you know why, Tom? I think because TVs are getting better with 4K and Ultra HD. I mean, we see the makeup line, like, why is your face orange, but your neck is bright white? Yeah. Like, so it's tough. I'm sure on set it probably looked great, but, like, I don't know. I'm just like, why did you get Sienna Miller to play this woman if she needs to have just a centimeter of extra face? Like, just, it's kind of weird. But that's very minimal. You get used to it. But yeah, I add it to your list. I definitely think and hope, it's part of the awards conversation. It won't be involved in the Emmys this year because, it missed the cutoff, but maybe SAGs and Emmys next year because Russell Crowe is giving it. I mean, when he's screaming at people, I'm like worried that he will like have a heart attack on camera. So that's the loudest voice on Showtime. And my second item, also dealing with the kind of TV news world, guys, I am loving a resounding add this to your list, ladies and gentlemen. The book, Ladies Who Punch.
Ooh.
Ladies Who Punch. We talked a little bit about this a few months ago when it was being publicized.
Did you read the whole thing?
I haven't read the whole thing yet. I'm about halfway through, and not because it's slow in any way. Guys, this is a page turner.
Spill the tea. I want to hear all of it.
Oh, Fumi, you will love it. Anyone who has worked in TV, you don't have to be a fan of The View. I've watched The View, of course, here and there, but I've never watched every episode. I mean, no way, no. But if you are interested at all in the behind the scenes of production, of a TV network, guys, this book is fascinating. It's like an true Hollywood story, but just as a book, not a TV show.
Now, does it only focus on the girls, the hosts of The View, or does it also, like, do you get, like, producer tea and, like, what's got going on with, like, Bill Getty and, like, all that stuff?
Oh, absolutely. You definitely get some producer tea for sure. Bill Getty. Basically everyone has been interviewed, which is truly admirable that the writer, I'm going to butcher his name, Raman Situda, he's been around for years. He works at Variety. He did, I think, The Hollywood Reporter, Wall Street Journal, all different stuff. So he's known all these people for a long time, interviewing them, and then has interviewed them again later, after a lot of them have left the show. The book is written in 3 perspectives. The first section is Barbara's perspective, second is Rosie's, and third is Whoopi's, to kind of show the 3 different changes of the show.
Yeah, the shifts.
because
that's fascinating.
Which is fascinating, right? But everyone's interviewed, and yeah, Bill Getty, a lot of the producers are involved. I would say it focuses more on the voices of the hosts. So just keep that in mind, at least the first half. But it shows, how Barbara, I mean, it's so impressive, guys. I mean, you got to give it up for Barbara Walters. Like, it shows a little bit of her history and then how she got this idea with Bill Getty and they went for it.
I had this idea for a show.
Right, exactly. They talk about the great SNL spoofs and lots of things that I forgot. Like, I forgot that huge summer when Meredith Vieira left and Star Jones quit before she was supposed to leave. Oh my gosh, she was so crazy. And then Elizabeth Hasselbeck's major crazy blow up with Barbara. That was, and Rosie, that was all that same summer. It was like 2001,
yeah,
2002
that was like the
maybe?
height of The View. It was so good.
That was the height of The View. That was the height of a major turning point.
Did you watch the clip that I sent of when Ladies Who Punch was getting all this press with Elizabeth, the backstage?
Oh yeah,
and she walks off.
I sent it. I thought I sent it to you guys, right? Yeah,
no.
Where she walks off and.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure I.
You said
I'm pretty sure I said it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, ladies.
Because I sent it to a lot of people. But anyway,
we're gonna have ladies who punch on our own
right?
podcast.
Excuse me.
But that clip was fascinating.
Fascinating. That clip was fascinating. I could watch that so much. This is why I love Housewives, because I just love women, strong women who like. But no, that part is in the book, and it's at the. I don't want to spoil it, but it's in a place in the book that literally it's at the end of a chapter. And I closed the book and I said to Greg, "This is the best book I've ever read in my whole life." Because I'm gonna just spill just this one line that is so perfect. Right after all that happened, Joy Behar says to the producer, she says, "If you think that's bad, you have another thing coming, because Rosie is coming and she's even worse." And it's the end of a chapter and it's like, oh my God.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. So yeah, guys, please read it. It's and it even goes into the details of the auditions of what the day of callbacks was like with 50 women, and Barbara and the producers are putting them in different things. It's all the really cool things, Lisa Ling, and how she wasn't ultimately a good fit, and how people kind of came and went. I love it. I can't wait to finish it. Please read Ladies Who Punch, the explosive inside story of The View. I know, it's a great title. So that's what I got.
All right. I'll go next. Last but not least, the first thing on my list is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The new
Yes, I'm very intrigued.
Quentin Tarantino's 9th film. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say...
Oh, boy.
It pains me to say this. But it's kind of an okay to miss.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say worse.
I thought you were going to say worse. I thought you were going to say, it pains me to say that this is the biggest golden turd of your life.
You guys, I love Quentin Tarantino, okay? He's literally one of my top 3 favorite directors.
See, I could take him or leave him.
And,
okay. I love him, too.
I love him. And I think he's really, really smart. I love what he does with film. This movie was a clunker. And you guys know I don't like fall asleep in theaters. Like if I'm gonna pay to like go see a movie, I'm gonna watch it. I fall asleep.
Now, how far in did you fall asleep? Because it's a 3-hour movie, right?
It's like long. It's so long.
2 hours, 45 minutes or something?
I think probably around like the hour and a half mark, it just gets to a point where it is so like dry that like my body just was just like, and I started to snore, but like, when you're like, when you're like awake, so you're aware that you're snoring.
Yes,
I heard myself snoring, and then I woke up, and like the guy next to me was like looking at me, and I just started to like laugh. I'm like, I'm so sorry. But okay, so Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it takes place in the 60s, and it is, it's 69. It's right before the famous Manson murders, and it follows Leonardo DiCaprio and so hot Brad Pitt. Like, I had you up to say, Brad Pitt looks good in this movie.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I love him.
He is so plain Jane.
Are you fucking kidding me, Tom?
I have no idea why bitches be saying Brad Pitt is hot.
I don't even know what you're saying right now. You sound crazy. Kidding? People are gonna think that you're having a stroke on our podcast. What are you saying?
Between the human 404 error and this, Tom, Just no.
No.
He is like a beauty icon. I'm glad that you said that, Boom. I love. Yeah. Anyway. Continue.
Anyway, so Leonardo DiCaprio plays Rick Dalton. He's like this famous actor, and Brad Pitt plays Cliff Booth, who is his stunt double, his like body double. And so essentially, Cliff follows Rick Dalton to like every set he's ever been on, and Rick Dalton is in this weird place in his career where he just feels like he's not popular and nobody cares about him. He was on this really successful show that like he wanted to like get off because he wanted to be this big movie star, and now his movie career is like failing. I will have to say Leonardo DiCaprio did a really good job playing an actor in Hollywood. I just think that like his performance was so hilarious. It was such a like woe is me, like nobody loves me, like the way that he'll just like cry because he just feels like he's not getting enough attention. It was really funny. It was really funny.
That sounds good. Okay.
But aside from that, this is Quentin and his Western obsession to the extreme, and that is why I just was not into it. Like, if you're into Westerns, you're going to love this movie. If you're not, this movie's rough to sit through. Rough. Because, honestly, it is just a movie about, like, nothing for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And then the last, like, 15 is when you really get, like, the Manson stuff.
Oh, interesting. Now, where does the Western come in? Because
Rick Dalton...
DiCaprio's character makes Westerns, right?
Rick Dalton shoots Westerns. And so if you're on Western sets, it's just, like, all Westerns. And even, like, in scenes where Brad Pitt character will, like, drop off this girl who he meets who's in the Manson cult, they, like...
Rumor Willis plays her, right?
No,
I think it's Margaret Qualley from
Margaret Qualley.
Yes,
okay.
But
yes,
Rumor
that's
is
who
in
it
it.
is.
A lot of people are in it.
Yeah, Lena Dunham is even in this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you see that article she tried
to kiss
to
Brad Pitt?
awkwardly kiss Brad
like,
Pitt?
Get
He's
off
like,
me. Yeah. But yeah, I have to say it is just a movie about nothing. It really is. It's just it's a movie about Westerns. Like, I will have to say it's cool to see Hollywood in that time, to see them driving down Hollywood Boulevard for the way that it looked back then. That's cool to see. So like the set design I thought was done really, really well. Yeah. And the acting with Brad and Leonardo DiCaprio was done really well. But there's just a chunk. I'm going to say like a good hour and 10 minutes of this film where it is rough to sit through. Like, it is rough.
Boom. That is weird. And it's weird that it's so Western obsessed, because we already got Django, which was
and
Western,
Hateful Eight.
and then Hateful Eight. So it's like,
which I loved both of those movies.
Yeah.
That's why
but you
I said
know
I
what?
could take
Those were
them.
done in such a different way. This is like straight up. Like,
Western.
I can't even tell you like a Western show or series or movie that was super popular around that time, but to take the most popular Western you can.
John Wayne.
This is John Wayne, like, oh my God.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Foom, let me ask you a question. What's he trying to say about the Manson stuff, though? Like, is he trying to make a statement about it?
I honestly
like,
couldn't tell you because the movie doesn't end the way history does.
Right, yeah, it's revisionist history.
It's revisionist,
yeah.
and so I don't know. I don't know what Quentin's saying with this movie at all, to be honest. I think it's just the love letter to Hollywood. And it's his way of just making that love letter. That's all that I could tell you it is. I mean, I was listening to someone talk about the movie. I was listening to a podcast, and they were talking about how they thought that it was, like, the narration, like, you couldn't believe it. Like, it wasn't, like, it was supposed to be a narration where you didn't really know if what you were seeing was really what was happening. And I thought that was kind of an interesting take on it. But yeah, it is.
And how's Margot Robbie? I hear she actually doesn't have a whole ton to do.
Did
you fall? Did you sleep through her part?
I think she says a maximum of like 20 lines throughout the entire movie. Wow. She's literally there to be beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what I heard.
Yeah, to be beautiful and flick her blonde hair around. I just, there's so many aspects of the movie. I was just like, what is going on? And like, even this girl, the girl who's in Fosse, who is with Brad Pitt, who's in the Charles Manson cult.
Who, like, I don't really love her.
Like the Manson girls, you see them walk around and they're so dirty and filthy. It's disgusting. There's one scene where they're rummaging through garbage to pick out like food for the rest of them. And they are, I mean, disgusting. And also, Quentin Tarantino has this weird obsession with, like, feet. I don't know why.
Yes, he does.
But, like, he totally does. And there's this one scene, every single movie. And there's this one scene where she's in the car with Brad Pitt. And, like, she puts her feet up at, like, the windshield of a car. And it is so smack dab in your face that I was literally like, oh, my God. Like, I did not need to see that. They're filthy. It is so disgusting.
Oh my God! I want to buy the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood Blu-ray with Fumi's commentary on the whole thing. We need to do that.
It is an interesting film. I will say that much. I know it was #1 in the box office last weekend. I don't necessarily know if word of mouth is really going to do it for Quentin for this one. I know the critics love it.
It'll cross 100 million.
Yeah, critics love it, but I don't know about general audiences. I mean,
it seems very mixed. So.
A lot of people have said they love it, and a lot of people I know said they hate it.
Yeah. This is not a win for me.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip.
Would you say, Foom? Because I will probably, at this point, just wait to watch it. Hopefully I'll get an award screener, but do you think it has a real shot at awards? Like Leo? You don't think Leo will even get nominated, you think? Wow. Okay. Wow.
No.
So no real nominations. Nothing's that memorable.
No.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
The ending is memorable. The ending is quintessential Quentin. Like,
oh,
yeah.
Okay, I like that part.
But,
okay.
Other than that, you got to sit through 2 hours and like 20 minutes to get to that point, you know?
Oh,
anyway, so that's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. A movie that made me fall asleep in a theater.
Once upon a time in a...
Seriously. And so the next thing on my list is a resounding ad. I cannot say ad enough. A Black Lady sketch show on HBO. Ooh. Robin Thede is the creator, writer, executive producer, actress in it with, it's an all Black female cast, all Black female writers room, Black female directors. Yes. It is so stinking good. It's so funny.
Wow.
And the first...
No, wait, Foom, it's fictional or it's... Because I was reading about it and I can't figure out if it's fictional
comedy.
or documentary.
It's fictional comedy. It's a sketch show. So each episode, there are a bunch of different sketches within the episode. They're 30 minutes.
Got it. Okay.
It's so funny. The first episode aired, I think, earlier this month. I think it was like the 2nd of August or something. And it was just, the sketches were so hilarious. It was like, there's one central sketch that is throughout the entire show, but then it intercuts with different sketches. There's one, my favorite, what it's like, a biter. So Quinta Bonson is in it, who's famous from BuzzFeed and famous for the He Got Money videos that were on YouTube, where she would go on she's famous for the girl who's never been on a nice date, where she'd go on a date with a guy. Did you guys never watch these videos?
I know the money one. I don't know the date one.
She would go on a date with a guy, and like, for instance, one video of hers is he took her to like go see a movie, and he bought her snacks, and she was like, "Oh, you got money!" Like, they're so funny. They're so funny. But yeah, Robin Thede. So one sketch is they're at a club, they're at a lesbian bar. And Robin Thede sees her ex, and she's like, "Oh my God, how's she not going to pay attention to me? She's going to act like she didn't break up with me through the comment section of a Venmo transaction," which I thought was so funny. But then there's like this alien who basically like tries to steal her like dance moves. It's really funny. It's a really, really good show, and it's just great to see Black women like taking power and taking creative control of their content, and I'm excited to see what the rest of the episodes are going to be like. It's really good.
I love that.
I hope they get Regina Hall to guest star on it.
Yeah, the guest stars are insane. The first episode, Angela Bassett, but also Laverne Cox. The guest stars are insane.
Yes, Laverne Cox.
Laverne Cox in the first episode, she was so funny. It was a bad bitch like support group. the sketch, which Angela Bassett like ran, but one girl in the support group didn't want to be a bad bitch. She just wanted to be an okay bitch because she was tired of wearing 3-inch heels in the house. It was like so funny. So yeah.
Now, Foom, is it shot on a stage, or is it like, or is each sketch like out and about, like in real locations?
Yeah, each sketch is out and about in real locations, and then like they do a really creative way of like segueing between each sketch. It'll either be like one sketch is like the girls are dressed up as guys, they're kind of like their own like Temptations like band, and the name of the sketch was on like a handkerchief. And then, like, for instance, the sketch where they're in a lesbian bar, it's on a napkin underneath, like, a drink. So you can kind of segue into seeing how the different names for the different sketches.
I love that.
So it's done really, really well. There's nothing, I mean, there isn't really anything like this on TV. I think the way that Saturday Night Live does their show is so different. And we're so used to the way, like, their sketches, like, come in and out. But this one is just, like, no filter. These women are, like, super raw. They're not afraid to, like, go there to say, like, crazy-ass shit. It's good. It's a funny show.
I definitely want to check it out.
Yeah, you definitely should. So, yeah.
How'd you hear about it?
Oh, I mean, the press for the show is crazy.
I totally missed it.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically all over every, like, the trailer for the show came out and it was, like, huge. Like, people were, like, sharing it like crazy on social. The trailer was hilarious. It was done really, really well. So that really got everyone's attention. And then Robin Thede her press tour has just been insane. She's been all over LA, all over New York, just doing so much press for the show. But It's on HBO, and it comes on Fridays at 11.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that is it for our list. We had all ads except for Once Upon a Time. So we had The Loudest Voice, Ladies Who Punch, Moulin Rouge, Years and Years, and A Black Lady Sketch Show. All ads. Once Upon a Time is an okay to miss. Or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is an okay to miss. I mean, if you're a Quentin fan, you're going to go see it, and I think you should. But for those who can, like, take over or leave them, like, leave it. Now that we've done our list, let's get into season series finale disappointments. Ooh. These are the shows. Yes. Take a deep breath. These are the shows that just made us be like, what the actual fuck?
Ooh, painful.
So Tom, you could tell us first, what's the one show that you were just like, how are you going to do this to me?
Okay, so I actually had to think really hard about this because a lot of series and season finales, specifically season finales, I guess they didn't tend to stick with me. So I had a hard time with this. I was going to say too. Lost, but I didn't hate Lost. It just was kind of okay. I was going to say Ally McBeal, and I was like, no, because that was just fine too. But then I was like, aha. The one show that I just really did not love the series finale, and it was a shock because I loved literally everything else about that show, was True Blood.
Oh, yes, I did see when I was Googling. A lot of people agree with you, Tom.
Remind me what happened.
I was not a fan of the True Blood.
I don't think I liked it either. I think I was actually really annoyed with it, too.
Sookie killed Bill.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that didn't bother me.
See, to me, the whole purpose of the show was always supposed to be about their relationship from the very first episode, from the get-go. I mean, it was a Romeo and Juliet told in modern-day South Louisiana. I mean, that's what the show was to me, and I read into it. A lot of people have told me I read into it deeper than I needed to, but, like, I thought, okay, if Bill's like this, Bill and Sookie are these different people, right? Like, and maybe they are, like, a synonym or an allegory for gay people. Was Alan Ball trying to say that there is no happy ending for people who aren't in the norm, right? Because Sookie was a fairy, Bill was a vampire, they weren't normal human beings. So I was just like, is he trying to say that there is no place for people who are not normal in society?
I literally cannot with you. Like, True Blood.
But girl, tell me, am I wrong?
True Blood was a show where literally it was like super like homoerotic. She was a fairy, he was a vampire, you had werewolves. Like, when you're talking about fantasy, That show was literally fantasy.
I'm not gonna lie, I zoned out. I totally zoned out during Tom's speech.
That he's trying to say gay people shouldn't be like what?
Bitch, no.
Isn't
I just
Alan
went
Ball
film
gay?
dairy on your ass, and you know I'm right.
Yes.
He is. That's why I was perplexed.
I can't with you. I cannot.
How can you not give a happy ending to people who were outside the norm?
I actually was all
she-
for Sookie and
The
Eric.
Eric?
Yeah. Isn't that who
So
she
did they
ended
end
up
up?
No.
What
No,
happened?
she ends up with a human being, I think.
with? Oh.
Eric burned up. Remember he shows
Oh.
his junk?
Yes, that's right. I always watched True Blood like in the background. I'm one of the few people that thought it was so dumb.
Oh no, I love
I thought that
True
show
Blood.
was nothing but just shock and oh my god, it was so
Oh
fucking
no,
You
it was
said
deep.
dumb. Oh no.
yeah, but okay.
So yeah, that's mine.
Now, how come you didn't say Big Little Lies? Because you were very upset with the finale of Big Little Lies. I, for one, was
Yeah, let's
just
get into
like,
it.
you know, I didn't think they should do a second season to begin with, so I wasn't that
Right.
shocked that the season.
So Tom, you were really upset with the ending?
Yeah, I didn't mind season 2 at all. I thought it was good. I thought the pacing was different of season 2. I thought it was a different show. It was much
Yep.
more of a character study,
Yep.
in my opinion, than season 1. But I liked it, and I thought it was riveting, and I thought the performances were good. But the ending, literally, to me, made no sense because you literally moments before the ending
I know.
had all these girls get the ending they were fighting for all season long. And then they all just decide to go. Spoiler alert!
Yeah,
spoiler alert! Spoiler
everyone.
alert! They all just decide to go and back Bonnie because Bonnie feels like she needs to go and turn herself in, and they're all just like, okay. Like Madeline just fixed her relationship
Yes.
with Ed,
I'm-
and she's gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry, Ed, I'm going to jail.
Yeah,
like what?
I totally agree with you, Tom. That ending, I gasped. My jaw was dropped. But then when it went to credits, I was like, oh, okay, there's going to be a scene after the credits. Okay. And then it ends. And I'm like,
Nope.
But, you sent us that article, Tom. I mean, Nicole Kidman is not saying a word about it because she really wants a season 3. So I think we are going to get a season 3.
Oh,
I
my
think
God.
it should be... I truly think it should be no more than like a TV movie, like a wrap-up
Correct.
2-hour movie like they did with
Let us
Looking.
know why these girls decided to do this,
Because-
because it makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Like, Renata just tells Amabella after she's going to leave her husband, it looks like, it's all going to be okay.
Right.
And then, oh, okay, well, wait, no, Mommy might go to jail for a little while.
I don't
Yeah,
think
like,
they're gonna go to
listen-
jail though.
You don't?
You don't think so?
No. They're
Not
gonna-
even
no,
Bonnie?
they're gonna get probation, the max. I do think it doesn't make sense in the grand scheme of things that, like, especially for Celeste, Nicole Kidman's character, the fact that she
Yeah.
just got custody of her kids, because then that just proves to the court that maybe
Yes!
she
Oh my
shouldn't have
God,
them.
yeah.
Yes.
So in that aspect, I thought that was a little weird. But
Yes.
Or,
are
like,
any of
even
those
with
women
Jane.
actually gonna get punished for, you know, the uneventful, well, not the uneventful, but the death of Perry? No. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna get off.
I think a much more interesting ending would be not all of them are there going in. If like Celeste stayed home and like I don't know, like that would be really interesting.
Jane and Celeste, yeah.
Yeah, that would be really interesting because then it's like, oh, the Monterey Five are split. Like that would be like, whoa, that's a real cliffhanger. More important than telling the truth is, oh, they're not all on the same page, you know? But
That's interesting, Mark. Yeah, that would have been good.
right? That would have been like, oh, wow. But yeah, I totally agree with you, Tom. The finale was such a huge episode because literally, I mean, that whole Meryl versus Nicole in the courtroom thing, that was working for me. That was,
Yeah, that was good.
I was on the edge of my seat. That was great. But it's like,
That was really good, but I heard that no judge would ever let it go down like that. Like, I've read posts from people who are in law, and
Yeah.
they were like, yeah.
Well,
could
the
see
way
that,
she was
yeah.
questioning, no,
Yeah.
there was no way. She wasn't
Right.
questioning her.
Right.
They were having a conversation. I was like, where are the questions? Hello?
Yeah.
Her attorney should have been like, what do they say when they stand up? The lawyers? Objection!
Objection.
Their attorney was not objecting to shit. I was like, you're...
Overruled.
Like, your lawyer sucks. But anyway, Mark...
I felt so bad for Nicole's lawyer. I'm like, oh my god, Nicole.
Her
you
lawyer
should've
was
just
horrible.
you never should have hired her
Yeah.
because she's in over her head, and you're like yelling at her every second. I'm like, oh, this poor lawyer.
Did you see the look on her face when Celeste, now we're totally getting off a tangent now. This is not even what the topic is. But I just have to say this one thing. When Celeste played the video of Perry beating her up and the lawyer's face, she was like completely shocked. I was like, oh, so you didn't show your lawyer this before you played. So then that means that the court didn't know you were playing this, and then that means opposing counsel didn't know you were playing this, so you're playing evidence that nobody knows about. Okay, this never happened.
Come on, David E. Kelly. But no, I will say, guys, real quick to finish up this little Big Little Lies thing. I agree with you, Tom. Overall, I enjoyed season 2, but it was not season 1, and that is because, and I said this to you guys offline, if there is a season 3, bring back my Greek chorus of townspeople. The show is good when the women are being talked about. So in season 1, when the detective is interviewing all the townspeople, the teachers, that's what was making it funny and fun. There was none of that season 2. Bring back the townspeople. I want them to be chattering about these women, even if they're not in interviews with a detective.
Well, that could work with a season 3
Yes,
now, because
now,
there would be something for them to chatter
at
about.
cafes, at whatever, like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. See, that would liven things up. That's all I'll say. But yes, Foom. So I agree with Tom. This was hard for me as well because for some reason, I think the shows I've watched in my life, I was pretty okay with the finale, so I really had to kind of Google. I kind of have two. They're very quick. The disappointing, well, they're both disappointing, but in different ways. The real odd kind of finale for me was Girls. And Girls was a show that I watched every episode, but I barely remember it. It ultimately was kind of, everyone kind of has a love-hate thing with Girls, right?
Absolutely.
But that finale was so out of left field.
It was weird.
It was so weird. And a few articles really hit it on the head that it's like, this was like a coda. This wasn't a proper send-off for this show that, like, was very much in the zeitgeist. It was, a kind of new version of Sex in the City, blah, blah, blah. But, like, it was only about Hannah and, what was Allison Williams' character?
Marnie.
I forget. Marnie, thank you. And how Hannah had this random baby. Like, if you were to, like, look back at the first season, none of this was ever planted back then. Like, this is literally, you're just writing whatever you want to write. So I would say that to me was like the biggest head scratcher that I've had seen, where I'm like, that's how they're ending this like 6-season show. Okay. But gotta give also a shout out to one of my faves, Popular, Ryan Murphy's first show, Popular. Yeah. Do you guys remember how that ended?
No, I never even watched Popular.
Oh my God, Tom, I own both seasons on DVD. You're coming over and watching them. Oh, it's so fun. But no, that finale, because it was canceled. It didn't have a proper ending. But it was the biggest cliffhanger. The main character just like professed her love. It was Brooke, played by Leslie Bibb, just kind of like professed her love for like the kind of nerdier guy, and everything's all happy. And her ex-best friend is, I forget what they're fighting about, drunk and driving and really angry, sees her in the parking lot and hits her with her car. It's like this blood-curdling scream, the headlights. It was the biggest cliffhanger that you hear the like ambulance sirens, and then the WB was like, oh, it's canceled. I was like, oh, what?
Oh, man.
So I have to also just say that, because that was like out of left field, nothing at all to do with this comedy. Like, it got real dark, and
it probably would have came back so funny though if Ryan Murphy had the opportunity to bring it back for a third season, because that show was really good.
Oh, it was so good. And I do remember Entertainment Weekly even wrote up a tiny little column about what would have been in season 3, because everyone was like, what the hell? You cannot end the show like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are mine. Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I had a show and I can barely even say it because
oh boy.
Okay, so for me, it is without a doubt. This series finale made me so mad. Young and Hungry.
What is that? Young and Hungry.
What is that?
It was a show that was on Freeform, and it basically started.
Oh Lord.
Okay, well, we might have some listeners that care, so continue.
Don't shade Young and Hungry. People actually really like this show. So it basically was Emily Osment. She was a chef, and the entire premise of the show is her being a chef and being a chef for this guy named Josh, who is this major tech dude. And it was like a will they, won't they throughout the entire series of the show. And they finally get together in like the last season of the episode. It's like they love each other, they're dating, Josh proposes, and she, like, kind of says no, and then, like, falls overboard. Because they're on a boat, they're on a yacht. It is Freeform.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Freeform canceled the show, but, like, no, listen, it was 5 seasons, so it had a good run. But, Freeform canceled the show, but I feel like the writers knew the writing was on the wall, and so they could have appropriately, like, tied it up together.
Yeah.
It was such a disrespect. It was rude. It was rude and disrespectful to the fans who had been watching the show for the entire run, the way it ended. For, like, the people who were there from the beginning, who were all invested into these two characters. It was so funny. The show was hilarious. Like, if you check it out, I promise you'll laugh. Like, it was so funny. And the fact that it ended it that way was so annoying. Freeform had said that they were going to come back and make, like, a TV movie to, like, really
like
wrap
a proper
it, like
ending?
a proper ending to really wrap it together. But then they ended up not doing that, and I think it's because, like, Emily Osment, like, went off and, like, she got booked, and the guy who plays Josh, who his name is escaping my mind right now. I don't really know what
he did. Other stuff.
I don't think so.
Oh,
but I don't know what he's doing right now. But Emily Osment.
How did she fall off the boat?
She,
was there
like
a wave
she,
or
no,
like?
she was like looking overboard or something, and she like slipped. Like he told her he didn't want her to move or something, and I don't know. She like fell overboard. It was just, it was so
weird,
so annoying that they ended it that way, and also the fact that like. Why wouldn't she have said yes to this man? Like, literally, the entire series of the show was them getting together, and they were finally, like, super happy, and they were a couple. And she had this amazing opportunity to go to, like, be a chef, I think in, like, France, and he said he would go with her, and he wanted them to get engaged. It was so... It just made me so angry to the point where it, like, ruined the show for me.
Yeah, it puts a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah.
That's the last moment.
I was just like, how rude for the people who watched the show from the beginning.
That's how a lot of the Game of Thrones fans too feel.
Yeah.
A lot of people were not happy with the series finale. Y'all know we're not a Game of Thrones podcast, but we'll just recognize.
Yeah.
And very recently, it's been in the Entertainment Weekly. A lot of Veronica Mars people feel that the latest season, the finale, was like hugely out of.
Well, that was the inspiration for this. It was Veronica Mars. I loved Veronica Mars. I watched it when it was on the air, and I have not watched the Hulu new adaptation just yet because I read about how it ends, and I am fucking pissed.
Oh my god!
A lot of people are very.
You
pissed,
love spoilers, but I guess in this instance, it works for you to
Pissed.
read them so that you don't even have to waste your time watching the whole
I don't
season.
even know if I'm going to watch it.
Wow.
I was livid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's weird.
And Jonathan Thomas, what is his name? The guy who created Veronica Mars. Jonathan Thomas.
I thought it was like something else. Rob
Thomas.
Right? Yeah.
He said that he knew very well that the ending was going to piss people off, but he felt that he needed to do what he did to really propel the show to be like a noir and really have seasons and really push. He wants the show to come back with multiple seasons and really push it so that her character can. And I disagree. I think that she could still do what she was doing with the situation and what happens being intact instead of uploading her life and this character the way that she did. But he does in the show. So it's not cool. Not cool.
Shit.
Sometimes you gotta take a step back and like little things that you did for shows back in the day, back in the 80s and 90s with like, you know, are these couples getting together, killing off people? Like sometimes you don't need to do that. Like people, I think our storytelling has evolved in such a way that you can hold audience attention with compelling stories without falling into like those tropes of, you know, stunt.
Yeah, the stunt twist.
Yeah.
That it's like,
yeah it's not needed. So anyway, that's our conversation for this episode.
Good episode.
Yeah. Wow. Twists and turns, baby.
Turns,
Wait,
baby.
Speaking of twists and turns, I gotta ask you, 10 seconds. You both saw Lion King. What did you think? It was like the biggest movie.
I liked it.
Is it a skit?
I liked
you liked it.
It's
Oh, okay.
definitely bad in my opinion. I thought it was cute.
Oh, okay.
I would say it's okay to miss. Visually, it was stunning, but I just thought it fell flat in a lot of places.
Interesting.
The music
wow.
wasn't
okay.
as...
I had to know.
The music isn't as pronounced as it should be.
Okay. All right. I was curious.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
that's our show. We want to thank Allie, Greg, Jay for contributing to the podcast. We love you guys so much. Thank you for all you do. Definitely follow us on all of our social platforms. We're everywhere that social platforms are. And we just want to have you guys leave us some reviews. Comment. Let us know what you're thinking about the show. You can leave us a review on iTunes.
And we'll shout you out.
We're uploading our episodes on YouTube now, so leave us some reviews there. Comment. Let us know what you're thinking.
Everywhere.
We're everywhere. And we'll be back next week.
In a couple
weeks.
Couple weeks. Yep, I'm going
Oh,
to
that's
Italy.
right.
Oh, yeah.
Tom is going to Italy. I was in Italy, and now Tom is going to Italy. We're travelers. Don't hate us because you ain't us, you know? Well, is that how you go? Don't hate us because you ain't us. That's right. Right?
Yeah, there you go. You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
That's a nice way to end the episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.